If you're looking to invest in real estate in the Twin Cities, you got to watch this video. I've got my 5 things to think about, places to consider, and things to just generally know about the Twin Cities marketplace and real estate investing. Hey, this is Matt Adelman with Matthew Adelman Realty. Welcome to this show. Welcome to real estate investing. Who am I? Why am I talking about this? Well, I've lived my entire life in the Twin Cities. I am a local real estate investor. I'm a local realtor. I live, breathe, and do everything real estate related, especially in the Twin Cities in Hennepin County and Ramsey County in particular. And today, I want to talk to you guys about what I think about as I'm looking at properties here, what my clients think about, and what my friends who are other investors think about as we build our portfolios in one of the greatest places to live in the entire country. So first things first, we got to level set. My number one question for every person I ever talk to when they tell me they want to invest in real estate or they do invest in real estate, either way, I always ask this question. What is your goal? What are you trying to achieve with investing in real estate? Which is a simple question. More often than not, people are like, well, I just want to make money. Okay, well, there's lots of different ways to do it. So specifically, what is your goal? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking to buy one place or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 that are generating a couple $100 a month in passive cash flow? Are you looking to short-term rental? Are you looking to medium-term rental? Are you looking to find a place where you don't care about cash flow at all? You just want massive appreciation? Those are super important questions. And most people don't think about it at that level and really get down into the weeds of what is my strategy and what am I ultimately trying to achieve here? Because depending on your answer, your risk tolerance, your capital backing, it's going to dictate a different strategy for everybody, and we're going to have to approach it differently. So the very first question, you've got to be crystal clear and you've got to understand, what am I really trying to accomplish here? Okay? Depending on your answer is going to dictate where we look throughout the Twin Cities or throughout Minnesota in general. If you come to me and say,
Matt, I just want pure cash flow.
Well, okay, great. Awesome. That's what I do. I want pure cash flow too. My next question to you is going to be, are you managing it or somebody else? Because again, that's going to dictate where we look and how we do this. If you're managing it and you're brand new to this game, you probably don't want to look in North Minneapolis, where you're going to find cheaper houses, higher cash flow, but are going to be harder to manage. The tenants are going to be more difficult. They're on government programs in some parts of that portion of the city. Do you know how to handle government programs? They can be great investments if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, you can get burned really fast. Are you looking at economic zones? Are you looking at places where the city wants to deploy capital, but they don't have the capital to do so? So they're looking for people like you and I to go do it, right? So high cash flow in low priced markets, in theory, pencils out great. But if you don't know how to manage tenants, good luck. You're going to be in trouble. If you say, hey, I like investing in that part of the community. I want to give back. I want to help. But I want to find a manager who really understands that. Great. We have managers here that specialize in Section 8 or in the HRA programs. We have managers that specialize in first-time homeowners or people who are getting out of difficult situations and just need a place to live. One of the places that I own, I rent it to a lady who provides housing to women who have been in domestic abuse situations. They need to get out, but they don't know how to or where to go. Well, she has one of the houses that I own. She has 9 beds in there for moms or ladies who need help, right? That's awesome. I'm super excited to help her with that approach, but we have a very clear contract and solid understanding of how this has to happen and how it has to work. And I would encourage you in any situation, wherever you end up investing, to make sure that you think through it at this level of detail. If appreciation is your thing and you're saying, I want to buy a house, I don't really care about cash flow, but I want appreciation. I want to buy a house that in 5 years is going to be worth $100,000 or $200,000 more. Well, great. Let's look at Edina. Let's look at Minnetonka. Let's look at Plymouth. Let's look at some of the other suburbs that are seeing tremendous appreciation. If you're looking on the eastern side of the Twin Cities, let's look at Woodbury or Oakdale or lots of other cities in that Arden Hills, Shoreview. They're all high appreciating, lower cash flow cities, right? And that's going to, again, dictate how we go about it. So what is your strategy? What are you trying to achieve here? And what is your investment goal? So those are going to be the first 2 things that are super important. The third thing that we're going to have to really talk about and make sure that you understand is, What is my financing? Again, this is a no-brainer. Everybody should be understanding and digging into this, but you'd be amazed at how many people I've talked to over the years who want to get into real estate investing, but either A, don't know a bank or a mortgage lender or anybody that will finance them. B, maybe they're not a W-2 employee and they can't. C, they heard somewhere in some program that you can do this with no money down. In some cases you can, but more often than not, you just need to have solid financing from a bank or mortgage company or family or some sort of person who has capital and equity, right? You need to know how much you can afford. If you can only afford $300,000 and you want to get 2 places, then we have to look at Minneapolis and St. Paul. There's not many other cities in the Twin Cities where you can get in to a property or two under $300,000. Great. Now we know. So let's build our strategy and figure that out and let's make it happen, right? The fourth question, this kind of goes with question 1, but it's what types of houses do you want to have? Are you a person who wants to own single family houses? Cool. We have lots of those. Are you a person who wants to own multifamily, small multifamily, duplexes and triplexes? Awesome. If that is the strategy you want to go after, there are only so many cities in the Twin Cities that even have duplexes and triplexes. If you're a person who maybe you're a contractor and you want to find older houses that you can renovate or smaller houses that you can add a floor to, so you want to do some sort of construction project, awesome. There's certain cities that lend really well to that. Minneapolis is going to be great. Richfield is going to be great. Bloomington is going to be a great city for you to look at if you want to go in and start adding onto older houses. If you want houses that are single family houses but are pretty hands-off and turnkey, great. Let's go south of the Minnesota River. Let's look at Apple Valley. Let's look at Lakeville. Let's look at Prior Lake and Savage. Let's go north of 694. Let's look at Brooklyn Park. Let's look at parts of Maple Grove. Let's Arden Hills and Shoreview. Those are going to be good cities with solid houses that, you, in theory, don't have to do all that much to. And so that's a huge part of what we need to figure out. And so the last one is, are you really committed to this for the long term? And is this really where you want to make your portfolio? And the big question is, are you okay investing in Minnesota as a state? And do you really understand the rules and the guidelines and the things that we can and cannot do here? So number 5 is going to be, we'll call it realtor, real estate, landlord, tenant laws. All right. It is an ever-changing roadmap here in the Twin Cities in terms of policy, in terms of rules and restrictions, in terms of rental regulations. Both Minneapolis and St. Paul themselves as a city individually passed rental limits last year in the 2021 elections. So they have rent caps. So you can only raise rent so much in each one of the cities depending on the new rules that they have in place, which is a huge thing to understand. There are not many cities that have rent control throughout the country. Not many cities that have rent control that have worked. And so if you were going to invest here, a lot of people were, I'm just going to buy in Minneapolis. Okay, great. But do you understand their rent control policy? Which right now they don't really have one, so nobody does. But it's coming. Are you prepared? Have you underwritten your deals to take into account all of the things that could impact your future cash flows? In St. Paul, their rental control policy is you cannot raise rent more than 3% in a given year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know what? In 2021, we saw inflation that was almost 7%. So if your cabinets cost 7% more and your appliances cost 7% more and your handyman costs 7% more and all of the general maintenance that you have to do in a house is now 7% more, but you can only raise rent 3%, it doesn't take very many years before you're upside down on what you can actually charge for rent versus what it costs to maintain the houses. And so that's a problem. You have to underwrite your deals to make sure that you can account for that. And so not rent control is just one thing, but do you understand eviction laws in Minnesota? Do you understand the different cities' rules and requirements? If Airbnb is something that you want to do in short-term rentals, a lot of the cities in Minnesota have really cracked down on it, and it is getting way harder to do. So how do you take that into account? You got to really make sure that you understand this stuff. And again, we can help with it. We live and breathe this market every single day. So I don't want you to get scared away by any of this, but I just want you to really think through and understand there's a lot more that goes into this than just I can't even tell you how many people have come to me and said, I found this house on Zillow. It's in, this portion of St. Paul, and it's only $140,000. I think this works. And then you pull it up and you're like, well, that's a really tough part of St. Paul. And here, you can only get this much in rent. Like, it doesn't really pencil out. I think you should look at this house that's $250,000. Wow, $250,000, that's so expensive. Like, people get into this market and they think Minnesota equals Midwest equals cheaper equals easy rentals, easy real estate investing. And yes, there's a lot of real estate investing and works here, but just like any other business, you've got to really hone in and have a strategy and make sure that you execute against that. So I hope this helps. I talked a lot about the Twin Cities. I invest in other parts of the state as well. And so we have a couple of videos in here that talk about investing in places like Rochester, St. Cloud. You can really go crazy and invest all over northern Minnesota and do like an Airbnb play and invest in cabins and short-term rentals and that sort of stuff as well. It's fun because tourism is good in parts of the city. Long-term renters are great in parts of the state. Like, there's a lot of options here depending on what you want to do. You just got to be clear in your head and find the right people to make it happen. So until next time, I hope this helped. Take care, everybody, and stay tuned for more videos.